Hey everyone, it's been a long time since I did a video, but you know, because there really hasn't been much to show. So I'm gonna show just a few clips of some things that I've taken over the last month in March, and show you a little bit, just a little bit of what's going on right now. And so here is my very first cucumber harvest I've ever. So I've tried growing before, but never been able to get an actual cucumber to cut off and be able to eat. And so this is my very first one, and it was very exciting. And as you can see, the shape is a little wonky, but I read that it was due to inconsistent watering. So we'll see. I got one more after this that was a little bit smaller, and that was pretty much it. But I'll try again. And so here's the Butter King lettuce. This is the before picture, before I started harvesting everything in this pot. And then here's the after. So I still left a bunch of bigger leaves, but I had, as you can see, a nice handful. And this is the Roselle, and this just showing you harvesting the Roselles off of it. And so pretty much after I harvested, well, in this video I only harvested I think 3 or 4, and then afterwards over the course of the next couple of days after that, I harvested all the Roselles that were on there. And there's still some ants on here, so I'm trying to brush it off. But as you see, when I'm trying to harvest it, I have to be very careful, because like this one in the very top right behind it are some smaller flower buds, and this one was in a very tight spot, like the stem, so I have to really be careful to get in there and not to cut off the buds behind it. And you can see, like, I'm pointing to it right there. It's kind of hard to tell, but there are flower buds right there. And so after all that, I cut off all the Roselles, and it was pretty much done producing. So I have some more seedlings, and I'm going to plant some more, so I can maybe get a harvest later in the year. But this is the 3 that I got. And here is peas. Just had to show a picture of this because they look like ladies with bonnets on them. It's because it's really getting warmer and warmer, and the days have gotten longer, and the way the sun is now, it shines more on this table here. So I have a lot more things put up here. And here is a 5-gallon pot, or this is actually a 7-gallon, but I didn't fill it all the way to the top, so I think it's more of a 5-gallon. But anyway, I have in this pot the remaining red Ragus lettuce right here. I actually didn't end up getting to eat much from it. And these are carrots. This one looks to be the cosmic purple carrot. If you can see right there, that's the carrot sticking out, a really tiny carrot, and it's like a really dark color. And then I also sowed some old yellow carrot seeds that I had, and so I think these carrots are the one. I think these are yellow. I am not sure, because I sowed them all on one side. So I think that this would be the yellow then, but I still don't remember, because I think I sowed a few more carrots after the rats had gotten into this pot when it was on the ground. So these actually may be cosmic purple, but I don't know. I guess we'll see if I pull them out later on, because I'm pretty sure these will not grow to full-size carrots. I just may end up leaving it in there or not, I guess. We'll see. And so I think I'm going to be pulling this out, because all the other ones that were right here had already bolted, and so I pulled them out. And then also the tomato, this tomato plant, I thought was yellow pear tomato, but it ended up being these cherry tomatoes, and they're like a brownish color. And I've gotten quite a good amount of tomatoes from these, and I don't eat them. But my family loves them. Every day my kids always, or actually my youngest really, she's always asking me, are there any more ripe tomatoes? And so it's kind of like grown all like upwards and then also downwards too. You see this whole one, this branch, and there's several branches off of this one, and it's just kind of like, almost reminds me of the topsy-turvy tomato planter. And so they have just kind of gone downwards and then kind of would bend upwards, reaching towards the sun. And so here too, there's another one. You see that's ripening. There's a bunch there, and there's a few more bunches of tomatoes in between the batch. You can't really see it there. You see some right there, and so it's pretty neat. And my family says it's really, really sweet tomatoes. So it's really cool. This must have been from when we were given a package of like, I guess these kind of tomatoes, and then I just put them in the compost. I think a few of them had gone bad, so I put them in the compost, and out popped this tomato plant that actually was in a 1-gallon pot last year, and it survived all these months until I put them in this pot in January, I think it was, and then it's gotten so big and it's produced so much of these sweet tomatoes. And this one right here I just picked today, because the ones that, like here, like that one, it looks like it's ripe, but if you look at the very top, you'll see if you look at the top, they are still green around here, and my husband prefers it when there's no green over here. He says that they're way sweeter when they're completely when there's no green left on it. So I just leave them until I see no green, and then I'll pick them. And so they're pretty much a snack, because I only have this one plant and not enough ripen to put in a salad or anything like that. And so yeah, and those two are not ripe yet. There's still some green on the top. But now, in this little 1-gallon pot of lettuce, which is the Butter King lettuce, this is probably time to harvest again, and this will be the fourth time that I harvest them for a salad. It's pretty much just enough salad for one person, and none of it looks like it's bolting yet, so that's pretty good. And because it's now in the 80s, low 80s to mid 80s, and the humidity is quite high. It's crazy how quickly it's gone from being in the high 70s to now, like to the low 80s to mid 80s with such high humidity. It's crazy. So anyway, a little purple cabbage that my aunt-in-law gave me, but I do not have a bigger pot to put this in, so this is where it's at. And so of course I don't expect anything to come from it, but what I want to do is just leave it and see if it will go to seed and collect the seeds, so that I will have some to plant later on this year in the fall. And here is another one, but this one is in a 3-gallon pot, and of course it is much bigger than that one, and I'm not sure if it's getting ready to bolt or if it's trying to develop a head. So we'll see. I don't really expect much of it, because especially now it's just getting so hot and the humidity is just so high that I don't expect it to really, even if it is forming a head, I don't expect it to really fully form a head because of the heat. So I pretty much expect it to bolt pretty soon. And I'm leaving it so I can get some sleep. First time I planted peas. This is the oh gosh, now I can't remember the name. The something de Grace, I think. And they are so good. I've never had them before raw. I never knew you could eat it like that raw. And I saw it in someone else's gardening channel. They say that they eat it raw, and so I decided to try it, and they are so good. And so, oh, another thing is that definitely I have learned from this is I really need to do a better job planning, because in this pot I have 3 plants, 3 of these pea plants, but these 3 are definitely do not produce enough for me to actually make a meal out of it. It's just been enough for me to snack on. Obviously too, I'm sure because of the fact that it's in a 3-gallon pot, I'm sure that has something to do with it. I've been doing my best to, to feed it more often than you would probably normally feed it in a pot or even in the ground. But in the pot though, if it was probably in a 5-gallon pot, I probably wouldn't need to feed it as often. But anyway, I'm making do with what I have, and this is what I have. And for sure, I definitely need to plant more pea plants, for sure, in the fall, because I only have enough to snack on, not to make a meal out of it. But here's one, there's another one, and these, I didn't think I'm gonna, not this one yet, but this one I will be picking maybe tomorrow, because it's getting really plump and I don't want it to get really big. I want them young, and but man, they are so sweet. I'm just amazed at how good they taste raw. And so anyway, so there's that, and there's another one right there, and there is, oh, here's one more. So that's like what, 4 total I think I've seen. No, actually, and then here's, so that's 4 I just showed you, and here's a 5th one, and there was one more I thought I saw. Oh, this tiny one right there. So as you can see, it's not really tall, and a lot of it has dried up here. I don't know what happened, but it's brought on some side shoots, and that's fine by me. They are actually doing pretty well even in this heat right now still. So I don't know how much longer it will last, but it definitely has, I think, gone pretty well into the hot season. You know, it's just the humidity that just really does a number on you. And I had read on the Baker Creek website for these peas de grace, I think that was the variety. That's the variety that some people have said that it's lasted pretty long. It's done really well as it's gotten hotter. So it seems like this one maybe can last a little longer in the heat compared to some other ones. But yeah, so that's the peas. Oh, and so back to the table, and I've got rosemary again. The one rosemary plant I had died. I think it was a year. No, yeah, it was last year. I think it was. We were gone for 2 weeks, and the pot that it was in, I guess, 2 weeks. It was in January that we left, and so it really wasn't that hot. But yet, I guess it was just, I don't know. It was either too dry or what, and came back and it was completely dried up, dead. So thankfully, my aunt-in-law gave me some. She had some, and so she gave me this one. And it's in a 1-gallon pot, and it is doing great, and I love the smell of it. And so it's in a 1-gallon pot, and it's doing great, and I just love the smell of rosemary. I love to rub my fingers every day I come out to check on my garden. I love to rub my fingers and smell my fingers, and I just love the smell of rosemary. Is so good. And then also she gave me mint, and I can't remember what mint she says this was, but it doesn't seem to have a very strong mint smell or taste when I put it in to make a tea. So I'm not quite sure if this is a peppermint or a spearmint or whatever kind of mint it is, but it's a mint, and I'm glad to have it, because I had gotten a mint plant 2 years ago, and that one for some reason just didn't survive either. I'm surprised, but this one's doing much better. And so here I have dill in the same pot as the Suriname cherry. I didn't mean it to be in the same pot. This was a pot that originally had a bunch of dill in it, and then I needed to transplant this from the little teeny container that it was in, and then of course some leftover seed had germinated, and so here I have, and I just decided to leave it in until I just decided to harvest the whole thing. And then in this pot I have calendula. So this is calendula 1, 2, and 3. Right in the middle I have ground cherry, the Pruinosa variety. No, sorry, the Peruviana variety, which is furry leaves, fuzzy leaves, and the cherries are much larger, and this plant grows tall versus the other one that I have, the Peruviana. No, oh gosh, I keep getting them mixed up. The Prunosa variety, which kind of grows sideways instead of up. And so this one goes up, and it has the fuzzy leaves and much bigger cherries than the other one. So I can see that too. It's kind of getting crowded out by the Calendula. And I think it's getting ready to flower. I'm not sure. I guess we'll see. But it's finally taking off. It's taken a while for these three to take off once I put them in this pot. Oh, and one thing I wanted to show you about this pot. When this was on the ground, let me turn this around. This was what happened. Right there. A rat bit into it, dug, trying to dig into what I had in the bottom of this pot, which was some dried leaves and some old potato peels and I think I had some sugar cane pulp, and I don't know if it was the sugar cane pulp that really drew it to this pot, and so it made a hole and was digging. And so of course I only noticed it, like, I don't know how long it was after I noticed it, that when this was on the ground, I just saw, all of a sudden I noticed like a bunch of soil all around on the ground. And then all of a sudden I was like, where did that come from? Because the soil that I saw on the ground was the dark color that this that was in this pot compared to the rest of the dirt on the ground. So I immediately noticed the color difference, and it's like, so something was up, and then I saw this dirt. I was like, where did it come from? And then I see this hole. And so I used sea grape leaves. These are dried sea grape leaves. You can see it. I put it all in here to kind of seal it up in a sense, to prevent any more soil from coming out. I just have to keep an eye on it so that if I see anything, if these leaves start to compost, then I'll need to find more to put in this place, because the sea grape leaves are quite big, if you can see, and so they're really good. So I thought they would be good for this purpose. And the last thing I wanted to show you is this pepper plant, which has this one pepper, which is the biggest I've ever grown so far. Not a huge one, not the regular store-bought size, but look at that one. To me, it's awesome because I've never gotten one this big. But look at that. I don't know what has been eating it. It started out as a small one right here with no hole, but just like this outer part. It just looks like it had just been eaten. It was like that. That's kind of what it looked like. And then all of a sudden, I see this hole, and now it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And so it's like it happened over like many days. So I don't think it's not like it was a rat or anything. I can tell definitely it was not. I don't know if it's ants or anything like that, or maybe a snail. I don't know if snail would do that or if they would eat it, but it's definitely not a rat, because it would have taken a much bigger hole, because like I said, it wasn't even a hole. It started out like this. You just see this, like, outer surface damage, and then all of a sudden a small hole appeared, and then it grows larger, and it wasn't like that overnight either. So I don't know what, but I haven't picked it yet, or maybe I should. And I'm pretty sure I can still eat it because it doesn't look like, I don't see any worms, but I would definitely do a good inspection when I pick it. So there's that, and then there's this one, and very funky looking. I can get this leaf out of the way. Look at that. Kind of weird looking. It's kind of small, not as big as the other one, but it definitely has a weird shape. I don't know what happened here with this one. But that's what this one looks like. So, looks like an alien. Oh, actually, one more thing. Here is my Suriname cherry tree, another one. This one is, I think, 3 years old. It's very slow growing, and so I haven't really bothered to move it out of this pot. As soon as I'm able to, I need to get more pots and soil. That's why I'm kind of being held up right now, because I just haven't been able to get soil and more pots that I need. But anyway, these are so good, these cherries. And here is it's not ripe, not fully ripe yet. It starts out very bright yellow, and it goes to this like apricot color, and then it turns orangish, yellow orangish, and then it turns into this red one, and it gets a little bit darker. So this is like day 2 of this color, and it looks more like a red orange, so it's not totally red. So I'm definitely going to leave it on a little bit longer. And how do I describe the taste? It's kind of hard, but it's very sweet. It has one pit in the middle of it, and I guess compared to the traditional cherry that most Americans know, you know, the Bing cherries and stuff, compared to that, because that cherry also has one pit also, but as you can see, you know, it's very different, and these are definitely not related to it. But the Suriname cherries, they have a very juicy, soft flesh. So very different in that from the traditional cherry in that case. Because to me, the traditional cherry is a bit firmer, the flesh, and this Suriname cherry is very juicy and very soft, and they're really good, and they're really sweet. And I'm excited. So this is definitely better. I had already eaten, I think, 3 of them, and so I have this one and this one left, but there are more. It had blossomed again, and if you can see here, here's one right by my thumb, and here's another one. And then this is a blossom that has not opened yet, and then there's also one here, and I think there are a few more, still not quite sure. I think these 2 right here, I think it's hard to tell, because sometimes they'll look like that and then they'll drop, so I don't know. But really nice to see some more cherries this year, because last year I think I only got 2. But definitely, as soon as I'm able to, I'm going to transplant it to at least a 3-gallon pot and see how much bigger it can get, and maybe then the next year, following year, I'll get more cherries than this. And so that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.